may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, guys, thank y'all so much for the support. I know y'all are very tired of hearing me say this. I've gotten multiple DMs telling me that y'all are tired of hearing me say this. But still, I want to reiterate it. Guys, y'all are what is making this channel grow. Going down there, leaving a like on the video, dropping a comment on the video is by far and away the best thing that's going on for this channel. And that's why we are going to continue to upload 3 to 4 videos every single day and live stream every single day as well. Y'all know that I took last night off, and that was our first night off with a live stream in over a month. I mean, so we have been out here grinding. I will be going live again at 8:30 p.m. Central tonight, as well as Saturday night at that same time. So please, if y'all have any questions that you want answered, make sure you go down there and you just hit subscribe, turn on your notifications. That way you know when we go live and you're able to come in and ask your question. But let's get into this video and let's talk about 5 running backs that I'm advising you to go out there and to try to stay away from starting in week 6. So first, let's start it off with a guy that I am extremely excited about for the rest of the 2020 season, and this is Chase Edmonds. Now, the reason that I have to bring up Chase Edmonds is, yes, I love the value that he is going to provide you on your fantasy football roster. I understand that he is one player that has that running back one upside if anything happens to Kenyon Drake's workload, and Kenyon Drake so far has been horrendously inefficient with the carries that he has received, while Chase Edmonds has looked electric, Chase Edmonds has looked athletic, and he's really looked like the entire package. I mean, everything Chase Edmonds is, Kenyon Drake has not been in 2020, and it will make sense for this Arizona Cardinals coaching staff to really expand Chase Edmonds' role going forward. But what I will say is when we're going out there and when we are trying to project that, that's all we are doing. We are trying to project that. It's not like we are direct messaging Cliff Kingsbury saying, hey man, are you going to get Chase Edmonds more involved in this game? I mean, what's going on here? And because the problem is, guys, Chase Edmonds at the current moment is averaging like 4 carries a game. I mean, his role on this offense is just too small to go out there and really rely on starting. And I did not necessarily think that we needed to bring this up. I did make some references to the fact that Chase Edmonds is that lotto ticket that you have on your bench. And at the same time, it's nice with the usage that he's receiving in the passing game. If you desperately need to go out there and put someone in your flex spot or your running back too, you could do worse than Chase Edmonds. But the problem here is in the live streams that I've had this week, I think that y'all have really just jumped the shark on Chase Edmonds. I think we are all excited for getting him off the waiver wire last week, and we really want to play him after that great performance against the New York Jets. But guys, while he is a fantastic speculative ad and a guy to keep on your bench, I don't think that we are going to end up going out there and sitting a player like Odell Beckham Jr., who we're trying to avoid, frankly, in this matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But still, I mean, I think y'all are just vaulting up Chase Edmonds to a play in week 6 where he should not be. I still love this running back in the long term. I love how he fits on our rosters. And if you desperately need someone to fill in that flex spot production, if you were just decimated by injuries, bye weeks, and possibly a COVID game this week, then yeah, I mean, Chase Edmonds could be interesting. He has a great matchup against the Dallas Cowboys, but at the same time, averaging about 4 carries and like 3 receptions a game. This is not a running back that I feel like I should have to say this, but I'm going to. Please do not go out there and just jam in Chase Edmonds without looking at your other options. Okay, now let's go to the other end of the spectrum. This is going to be for those loaded teams who just have a plethora of options, and we are going to talk about Miles Sanders. Now, I hate to say this on everything, but y'all know I love Miles Sanders for the entire 2020 season. I have him on a ton of my own teams because we knew that this running back was athletic, he could catch the ball, and he was going to be a bell cow for this Philadelphia Eagles offense. But the problem here is we just thought that this offense was going to be more productive. We expected the offensive line, which has been great over the past few seasons, to continue that play, but we see injuries completely decimate them, and this offense is having a very hard time moving the ball down the field. And I will just come out ahead and say it. Guys, I had Miles Sanders as one of these running backs that we were trying to avoid last week, and obviously he had that blow up game. Just, I mean, it kind of helped my fantasy football rosters because I have to start like 12 players in every league. We go so deep, so Miles Sanders is in my lineup regardless. But those rosters that only have to start 2 running backs and 1 flex spot, I was kind of getting y'all away from Miles Sanders in the horrible matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers last week, and he went off and busted off that like 75-yard touchdown run to start the game. But what I will say, guys, is if you take that run out of it, Miles Sanders was averaging like maybe less than 2 yards a carry that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think we can expect something similar going up against Baltimore this week, who also has a fantastic run defense. And the problem here is, I mean, if we are going to expect him to be so inefficient, if he does not break off that really long play, if he does not get that touchdown, he is a running back that just does not necessarily have the floor and ceiling combination that we are after. So if you're a team that has a couple options, like if you're trying to decide right now between a David Montgomery or a Miles Sanders, honestly, y'all know I hate this is like something I would never say, because coming into the NFL draft last season, I loved Miles Sanders coming out of Penn State and hated David Montgomery. But now, I mean, we're looking at week 6, 2020. We're trying to project volumes. We're trying to project matchups. And here I think that we could actually see David Montgomery be a more intriguing play. Now, we are going to talk about 2 running backs, and neither one of them, regardless of the situation, I am that excited about putting in my fantasy football lineup. And honestly, I don't really like either one of these running backs going forward because they are going to be eating into each other's production. But let's talk about Phillip, Lindsey, and Melvin Gordon. Now, I know we really don't even know if Melvin Gordon is going to be good to go on Sunday. We all know that he had that DUI earlier this week. And on top of that, on Friday, he actually left practice early with an illness. I mean, that is not what you want to hear in the time of COVID season. I know we can probably safe to assume that it's not COVID with all their testing, but still, I mean, just kind of scary to hear those words go together. And regardless, we are looking at the situation, and this offense is going up against the New England Patriots. And we know when we are expecting these poor teams to go up against the Cam Newton-led New England Patriots in 2020, what we end up expecting for this matchup is we expect that the New England Patriots are going to go out there and they are going to want to run the ball, slow down the pace of play, and really just control the game with defense and running the ball. And what that is going to end up allowing is just no pass attempts and no rush attempts for the Denver Broncos, who are not necessarily going to be able to project to put up a ton of points against this Patriots team. So while maybe you have to, based on just the running back landscape around the NFL at the moment, I am definitely going to be trying to avoid Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsey where I can, because this is going to be a bad team going up against a great Bill Belichick-led defense. And here, I just don't want any part of it. All right, now let's get to another running back that I don't want any part of. Y'all know we don't have him on any of our fantasy teams. Despite him looking electric when he touches the ball, he's undersized and he does not necessarily get the receiving game usage that we would like to see. And this is Devin Singletary. So I'm going to reiterate, guys, with Devin Singletary, unless we were going out and projecting him in like week 4 when there was no backup running back that was going to be able to take carries away from him. I mean, he is just that undersized guy coming out of the 2019 NFL draft class. Honestly, he's not even that athletic for how small he is. And on top of this, we know that Josh Allen is genuinely going to go out there and vulture touchdowns away from both Devin Singletary and Zach Moss at the goal line. So with it looking like Zach Moss could potentially play on, I believe this is actually a Monday game, we are wanting no part of Devin Singletary, because the only way you would want to jam in Devin Singletary into your lineup is if they were going up against a very poor running defense, and we could project Devin Singletary to go out there and get the bulk of the volume. But really, with Zach Moss coming in, TJ Yeldon honestly got a lot of work last week as well in Zach Moss's absence. I don't necessarily think that we can look at a player like Devin Singletary and expect him to go out there and really command the workload. So please, guys, I don't even like this running back in the long term. Maybe this is a running back that you should go out there and trade away. But Devin Singletary, undersized, not a good matchup going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Possible competition in that backfield this week. Just stay away. Now, our last player is going to be a little bold because we told y'all to go out there and bench him last week, and he actually had a great game, but he did not do that off of volume. He actually saw about what we expected to see in terms of rush and receiving attempts, but here it's Darrell Henderson. So now we look at Darrell Henderson's production last week with Cam Akers coming back into the lineup, and the production was there, but it thrived off of touchdowns. I believe Darrell Henderson scored 2 touchdowns in week 5, and you saw that drastically increase his fantasy football output. And I know y'all are probably thinking, Mason, what is wrong with touchdowns right now? We love touchdowns. And guys, yeah, I mean, that's how you win your fantasy football leagues. But the problem with following touchdowns when you're projecting future weeks' performance is it's just not that reliable. it's a lot more reliable to look at the usage. And with Darrell Henderson, now that Cam Akers is coming back into this offense, I will continue to double down and talk about how Cam Akers is going to continue to take carries away from Darrell Henderson. So if we are going to see a running back that honestly could not even get a feature down role every single game away from Malcolm Brown, and you're adding an extremely talented running back into the mix with Malcolm Brown going nowhere, I just don't like this matchup. I know he is going up against the San Francisco 49ers, and we just saw this Miami Dolphins team steamroll them, including Myles Gaskin putting up a fantastic week. Still, regardless of the team he's going against, I don't really want anything to do with Darrell Henderson where I can avoid him despite the past few weeks' production. I know I sound like I'm crazy, but guys, I promise you, this is not opportunity that we can rely on. Okay, but thank you. I really hope y'all enjoyed the video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if y'all did, please make sure you go down there, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, I will be live streaming tonight at 8:30 p.m. Central, as well as Saturday night and Sunday morning. Really hope to see y'all there.